With the recent deaths of Liz and Nick, even if it was somebody you didn't act with, do you feel like that's losing part of your family?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very funny because although it sounds corny, you know, the Doctor Who family, it's true. As you know, you're in it too. And it's amazing how you've become very, very fond of the people who shared this journey, and which will go on and on. And yeah, it's really sad when people leave. And Nick, we knew was really ill, and I have a wonderful sort of last memory of him, which was last autumn, and it was before he really went downhill and had to go into the hospice. But Colin and I had to go up to South Shields to do a concert, and they decided to do a Doctor Who day with a concert in the evening, and Nick came too, and Terry Malloy. And there we all were, and Nick had just started his first lot of chemo, and he had some tablets which he had to take. So Karen, his wife, rang me and said, Sophie, could you make sure he takes his tablets, please? And could you just look after him a bit? And I thought, how lovely to be entrusted, you know, the care of Nick. So I went up and whispered in his ear, Nick, have you taken your tablets? Yes, 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 yes. And so I sort of kept my eye on him all day, and then in the evening he was quite tired, and he wanted to ring Karen, and he got this mobile phone. I said, I don't really use these things anymore. And he tried to ring the number, he couldn't ring it, so give it here. I dialed it for him, and oh, thank you, darling. Oh, yes, yes. And we said, look, you go back to where we were staying. We were staying with the guy who was organising the whole thing. And don't wait up for us. We'll come in after the concert. Colin and I did this really lovely concert. And then it was about 10:30. We drove back to this guy's house. And there was Nick, waited up for us in his slippers. And we had the most wonderful meal. We had an Indian meal. And we stayed up till 2 in the morning, Colin, Nick, me, and this guy, George. And Nick was talking about the old days, talking about his days with Equity and, you know, the sort of union stuff and what it was like. And it was just such a wonderful memory to have of him. And, yeah, so I'm very, very pleased to have known him. And then, of course, Liz was a complete surprise, you know, a shock, because not many people knew that she was ill. And she was a very private person, and she wouldn't have wanted people to know and to be all sort of mournful about it. And, you know, she was very practical as well, so she just kind of got on with it. And the weird thing was that I hadn't spoken to her for a long time, and then I rang her the Thursday before she died. Weirdly, and left a message on her answer phone. And it was strange because usually she gets back to me straight away, so it was quite odd that she hadn't, and I was just thinking, must ring Liz again when I got the news. So yeah, it's really sad that we just won't see these people again, but aren't we lucky that we got to meet them and know them, and that we have their work as a lasting memorial. Especially, I mean, I was so happy for Liz that she'd got this resurgence in her career, because it's really just what she always wanted. You know, when I very first met her, she really was, she still had that ambition and that drive in her, and she still wanted to, she had so much to give. So I'm so pleased that Russell T Davies gave her that opportunity to do that. So, I mean, we, as I say, we're very lucky to have known her, and we're very lucky to still have her work.
Now that the Sarah Jane Adventures is sadly done filming, if they decided they wanted to replace that with the Ace Adventures, what do you think? What do you think?
Well, I kind of think that would be okay, because it's funny, when I first met Liz, the very first moment, I can remember it so well, we were doing, there was a big party, it was some kind of anniversary or something. It was in a bar in London that we used to do a lot of Doctor Who signings in, and it was this really crowded room, and across the the other side of the room, I caught sight of Liz Sladen, Sarah Jane Smith, who I'd grown up watching, who was my heroine, you know, who I just thought she was great. And I thought, I started to feel a bit nervous, you know, because wow, look. And I think it was in between the first and second season I'd done. I think it was anyway. And just at that moment, she caught sight of me, and she came sort of battling through the crowd towards me. She said, "Sophie, Sophie," she said, "I think you're wonderful. I love Ace. I think she's a wonderful character." And I said, Liz, I think you're wonderful. I loved Sarah Jane. So it was fantastic. We just immediately got on, you know, kindred spirits, and that was great. So I actually know for a fact that she really loved the character of Ace, and so, you know, I know that she would give her blessing to anything that Ace would go on and do.